What's going on, everybody? This is D-Style Boxing. That's those joining me live. Those will be joining me on archive. Those watching on Monday and Tuesday. Shout out to everybody. All right, I'm joined by Mario here, Mario Munguia, and of course, the one and the only shotgun, Shannon O'Connell. How you doing?
I'm great.
How's the future? Can you tell me lottery ticket winners or anything like that? Maybe?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
Not unless you live in Australia.
Oh, there you go. A lot to talk about, but I do want to kind of dive in, if you don't mind. I just want to dive right in. So I want to give a shout out to Ring IQ, a good friend of the channel. So shout out to him, right? But Ebony Bridges was doing an interview, and a question was brought up to her by one of his subscribers, and she answered. She had a lot to say. I'll just abbreviate this, or not abbreviate. I'll kind of give the audience a quick kind of breakdown here. She said, "You find nothing but a bunch of locals, bunch of 2-1 girls. You haven't done anything for a while. You just came out of a shoulder injury. Anytime you step up, you lose. Anytime you face anybody decent." Those are just some of the things she said. You bring nothing to the table. You're not a mandatory. Who are you? She's not looking backwards. She's moving forward. So that's what she said about you. What do you want to respond?
Every time I hear her voice, I just think, oh, like she's a grub, honestly. For her, everything she said is wrong. Like people have said to me, oh yeah, but it's through COVID. She went overseas and she made it for herself. Sorry, but you don't just turn up on Eddie Hearn's door knocking saying, "Here's my resume. I'm available to fight." Like she's a scrub. She's a grub. She did it in a way, like, for me, and I've said this before, morals over money. I've got a 16-year-old son. Imagine him going to school and all his mates passing around a photo of me in my lingerie on the scales. I've also got a 14-year-old daughter, and I think this is even worse, like teaching her that I'll just get your clothes off and you can get what you want, because that's what she did. And she fought Shannon Courtney with a 6-0 record that was pretty bad. Like her fight before that, she went the distance with someone that she should have stopped. She debuted in a 3-round fight and got dropped in the first round, but still won. Which, I don't know. I'm not that great at maths, but calculations say best case scenario that's a draw. I was the number one in the IBF before she got that shot, and we were chasing it. But my injury, I wouldn't have been ready for March, so I was due to fight. I would have been fighting Roman if Roman won, but the way the IBF is because there's a new champion, the mandatory date then gives 12 months. So by March, she has to fight me. But I personally think she's going to do anything she can to get out of it. And I don't know, there's not all the other 3 champs all beat her.
Well, that's a good point. I just want to share something for those that don't know, of course, right? So these are the 2 sanctioning bodies. You're number 1 in the WBA and number 1 in the IBF. So you have 2 routes here. Jamie Mitchell, the champion in 1, as we know, she beat Shannon Courtney in an upset. Nobody expected that, but that kind of happened. Ebony Bridges beat Roman. I don't even know who was the favorite in that fight. I believe Ebony Bridges was, but she just won a fight. I have no idea why it says. I think those are Roman's statistics right below that. Like, won the title in 2007, mandatory 19, defended. I think that's her statistics. But nonetheless, and there you are, number 1. And of course, Luna in the WBC and Thorslin is in the WBO. How long have you been number 1 in WBA and the IBF?
Well, I won the WBA gold title in March, so that put me straight into that number 1 spot for the WBA. And then I believe before November last year, I was the number 2 in the IBF, but November got me in the number 1 ranking. Okay,
all right. So now part of it is the injury, like you stated, right? Is it kind of frustrating though? Because it seems like, because I remember Shannon Courtney had been beat. She had like 1 little win, and then she got a title shot. Ebony Bridges was thrown in the mix. I don't know what she did. In fact, I'm looking at Ebony's fights right now. She fought somebody who was 2-1 in her debut. It's a debut, no harm done. Then she fought somebody who made her debut. Then she fought somebody who was 1-11. and she fought somebody who was 6-10, and she fought somebody who was 3-1, and then she fought for the world title. That's what she did. That's what she got a shot. Then she lost. Okay. She lost against Shannon Courtney, which I believe was a pretty wide. I scored. I only gave her the 3 rounds in that fight, but then she ended up fighting a girl that's 3-9, and then she finally beat somebody for the first time in her career with a winning record. Was 5-2 in a fight that I personally disagreed with that referee. I wish they had 3 judges for that fight. I didn't score for her. Okay, have no dog in the race. I personally didn't think she won, and then of course I do. In fairness, I do feel she beat Maria Roman, but that's her resume, right? But she's saying that you fight nothing but 21 girls and that you're not a mandatory. Who are you? That's what she's saying.
Well, I mean, I am the mandatory, but I mean, I've also I've fought who's been put in front of me. I have got 3 kids. I can't just travel around the world at the drop of a hat to knock on someone's door and send some nudes. Like, that's my dog. Go away.
For the dog.
I mean, I fought Kylie Fulmer 7-0. She was the favorite going into our fight. Shanika, she was I think 13-0 when we fought. Okay, Taylor Robertson, yes, she was only 3-0, but she was also a Commonwealth Games medalist as an amateur. I think she's had about 60 amateur fights, so she's not a novice to boxing. But I didn't want that fight, and I mean that I actually changed management after that fight. I didn't want the fight. It's caused a bit of a falling out. But at the end of the day, it was, well, fight her or don't fight. So I took the fight. I took the fight knowing that I was not going to lose it. So what is better than not fighting?
Right. And to make it clear, just for a second, okay, Shannon is 8-0, right, in the last 8 fights, and in those last 6 fights, she's fought 4 fighters that are undefeated. So, you know, for me, I think the problem is 2 things, Shannon. Or I guess not my problem, but the things that I'm not having trouble accepting, and that's number 1. The blonde bomb, she doesn't have that different of a resume. Like I look and I see, you know, where her arguments stem from. I don't see it. The other thing that's an issue for me is that how is this not a fight that she wants to build up? You know, the fact that y'all could have it in Australia, we've seen the fandom of Australia just absolutely erupt over the last, I don't know, maybe decade or so. And so for all those reasons, do you think it's just cap? Do you think there's a part of her that's like, well, I know this isn't going to happen right away, so let me build it as much as I can? Or do you honestly believe that she is scared of you?
I honestly believe she's scared of me. I mean, I wouldn't say scared. She just knows that I'm better than her. Like I mean, scared's I guess.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said scared. Yeah,
I'm not scared of losing. Like I'm not scared of the person. Like I mean, Helen Joseph knocked me out. I got caught. I'm not scared of her, but she knows that I can beat her. And I'm a threat because she's this big name and she would rather lose to another champ than lose to another Aussie. But I mean, I actually just thought then, if you look at our last 9 fights, our records are the same, except I've probably got more knockouts than her. I actually just thought of that. 8-1 in my last 9 fights.
Now, I don't know how
we've got the same record.
It definitely looks that way, and I don't know how familiar you are with the BoxRec ratings. I mean, just to put it out there. I mean, you're rated number 3. She's rated. I gotta keep scrolling. Number 12. So like, it is what it is.
If you look at the top 4 on BoxRec, it's the 3 champs and me.
Yeah, 3 champs and you. That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, I mean, I know you said you're the mandatory, right? But has the IBF told you you're going to get the shot? Like, is this like a promise you got? Is it contractual? Is it? I mean, you tell me.
No, we have been chasing it for months. We were actually chasing the mandatory, like for them to force the mandatory before she won the fight. They've come back just only recently and said they can't force it until the March date is coming. So by March, all I need for her is to keep winning, and then they'll force it.
So she loses in February. You're going to have to wait again?
Then I have to wait another 12 months for that champ. So hopefully whoever beats her is more willing to test themselves.
Do you expect that? Or is that part of the plan? Like, you know what? If she doesn't want to fight me, I'm just going to wait for somebody to beat her. Is that how you feel about her?
Not really. Like, I mean, yeah, I want the belt. I believe I deserve the belt. People keep saying, oh, you just want the payday. If you know anything about my career in boxing, it's never been about the money. It's more I'm building. I want to build a legacy. I've been in this sport for nearly 20 years, and I believe I deserve that belt, whether it's from her or someone else, whatever. But I'd love to fight her for it, just because it's a big fight. And for me, I don't think people are like, oh, that's a big fight for Australia. I think it's a good fight for women's boxing. It's a huge fight for Australian boxing, men or women. But in women's boxing around the world, it's a good fight.
Well said.
Yeah, it's a good fight. The other thing, though, she's not exactly like she's talking like she's Canelo or some shit. Like she's talking like she's the star. Like she is. Like you don't got 1 million followers on social media either. Like you're closer to 0 than 1 million. Like
it's actually funny. I saw something of her comparing herself to George Kambosos, like with traveling overseas and stuff. But I mean, George Kambosos, he won that title against Lopez, and he defended it against the best straight away. So let's not compare yourself until you get in with me.
I get that. Here's the thing, right? I would love to see the fight. I really would. I think the styles between y'all clash really well in an entertaining way. Okay. Yeah. Here's where I'm going to kind of, I'm not defending Ebony. I'm not at all. I'm defending the idea that men and women can use their, for lack of a better term, provocativeness to sell themselves in a commercial landscape. Now, the men do it too. Like these, these advertisements with, Conor McGregor half naked or Canelo without a shirt. Like these are all in terms the same kind of idea. So, how much can you really hold it against her, right?
I think, but they're more about their fighting than they are about being naked.
So you're
like, that's just a little piece of it for her.
The other thing is just like, I mean, that's not her problem. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't.
For sure.
But what about Jamie Mitchell? Would you fight her if that fight became available?
Yeah. My manager has. He's actually friends with Dewey Cooper because when Kim goes overseas, they train there. So he's reached out to them. I'm not sure what they like. I think that they were talking about fighting in September. Like they'd already had something planned, or they were looking at unifying. They were hoping with Ebony. So I'm not sure, but I mean, to me, she beats Ebony. I personally believe. So if I get to fight her afterwards, awesome.
Okay, all right. Now, it looks
personally, I would like to take Ebony's fight title and then unify it with Jamie Mitchell.
Because I feel like these, like when you look at Mitchell, Bridges, Courtney, I feel like they could all beat each other. So they keep fighting each other. They're going to be doing rematches, and it's going to leave you kind of out. Do you kind of fear it might leave you out of the loop? Like, oh, hold on, we were going to fight you, but then now we got to do a trilogy, and then she won.
It's like it's like when you've had more than 10 or 20 fights, you get forgotten now. Like all these girls are novices. I mean, like Jamie Mitchell's not a novice. She's been in the sport a long time, but in the pro ranks, she's a novice.
Sure.
Ebony's a novice. She didn't even have many amateur fights. And Shannon Courtney, again, she's a novice. I think they're all under 10 fights or at 10 fights.
At 10, yeah. I mean, you're not.
It's like once you've had 20, then you're like, okay, bye. You're not worthy anymore. You're too good for us.
Another thing she said is that, like, even if I beat her, she won't get any credit. She said, like, they'll say you're old, and that you had a shoulder injury. That, like, well, what is it? Like, she's kind of saying like you offer nothing. It's what she's saying. I think you offer credibility. She beats you. Nobody could say anything at that point.
Absolutely.
Right?
And also this age thing. I'm only 3 years older than her.
I was about.
Are you?
So,
yeah, you are.
Like when she said that, I googled it. I'm like, she was born in '86. I was born in '83. Why is she calling me old?
Yeah,
she's 35.
Like, if I'm old, you're old, love. Like 3 years. I can guarantee you I'm fitter and stronger, and I'd probably live a healthier life. So age is nothing.
Yeah,
I fought Akuna, I think she was about 42.
Yeah, like she talks like she's this mega star. Like, okay, all those fans at Leeds were for you. They were there for Warrington. Calm down, okay? That's number one.
Yeah.
Right? Like calm down. Like she thinks like she sold out the stadium or something. That's how she acts. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't have fans, because she does, and they're rabid fans. Okay, but it is what it is. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? They're not a fans because of her boxing. It's whatever to me. Yeah. maybe some, I don't know. Now, I will say, though, she did show a lot of improvement. I was kind of impressed in the Roman fight. Well, what you think of her performance?
Yeah, look, I think I even said it in an interview, fake it till you make it. She did that. Like, the improvements that she made from fighting Shannon Courtney to the fight with Roman, I think she's getting better with fights, but you're a world champion. Like, you're meant to be better already. Like, just wing it for a world title fight. Like, I can guarantee you I'm still getting better as well, but I'm levels ahead of that. Like, I think my boxing brain, like, I don't believe she's got much of a brain in general, let alone a boxing brain.
Whoa. Shout out to Nando Llamas. Please drop the like. Absolutely, guys. Thank you for the support, brother. Rob S. says Ebony's ducking Sean Hearn and will protect her for long. Now, look, here in the YouTube streets, in the boxing streets, when people start talking about, different fighters duck in different ways, okay? Some fighters, they just have a different energy about them, okay, when certain names come up. And I think Ebony Bridges, whether she would like to admit it or not, I've seen her act like she doesn't know who you are on Twitter when people bring you up. Okay, in this recent interview, she had no choice but to acknowledge you. But she says you bring nothing to the table. I want to know what Beck Connolly, or whatever her name is, brought to the table. Conley, I'm sorry. What does she bring to the table? What does she have
do you
to
know
offer?
what I want to know? I want to know is if she plans, like, so her next fight is a voluntary, but she's clearly stated squillions of times that she only wants to fight someone in front of her. So if she's, what did you say? I think number 12 on BoxRec.
Yes.
Well, her next fight's a voluntary, so you've got to take out the other 3 champs. So, there's like 7 or 8 people in front of her. Everyone else is behind her, because you can't look at someone in front of you as the IBF, because you're the champ. She's saying I'm behind her, but on BoxRec, which is the only thing you can really go on, I'm in front of her. So, hey.
Isn't that the problem, though? Isn't that the problem with like the entire institution of boxing? Doesn't it feel, or let me ask you like this, doesn't it feel like sometimes there are rankings that are being orchestrated that have nothing to do with the fights and everything to do with like the people that want that person to have the belt? Like, how frustrating is that, honestly?
Yeah, and I think that's with the organizations. It's sort of not what you know, it's who you know. Not what you've done, it's who you know. But with BoxRec, it's a point system with who you fought, and it's, I mean, I think the way it works is like someone that I beat could fight, and I get points if they beat someone decent. Like, it's sort of, yeah.
It's not perfect, but I mean,
it's not perfect, but it's more legit, I guess. And
right, it is.
It
has less to do with how much money.
Who cares? I'm a bummer anyway.
Right? Yeah.
So look, there's some good fights there. You know what I mean? Will you take any other fight other than Mitchell or Ebony Bridges?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like you'll risk it because you could fall off the number 1 spot or something.
I can't just sit around waiting. I mean, we're going to stay busy while we're waiting for that. I mean, in my mind, if I don't beat anyone else that's below her, then I don't deserve to fight anyway.
Okay.
Because I guess that's the way a true fighter would see it. Like, I think I'm better than her, so I'm going to beat whoever they put in front of me to get to her anyway. Otherwise, that person should be fighting her.
Okay. Well, what about the other title list? I know you're not number 1 there, but like if the opportunity came up to fight Thorsland or Avila, would you fight them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've sort of looked into the WBC title. I'm not sure. Like, my team are talking and discussing all of that. If we could make that happen, that's huge as well.
Okay, so you let them take care of all the business shenanigans, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, what about Melissa Odessa Parker? Would you fight her? She's the IBO champion. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah, I haven't seen her box, but I've seen her name. I don't. That's up to my management. I'm going to fight whoever they put me in front of.
That would be a great fight.
I don't really see. Like, I mean, I'm not sure that the IBO is a belt that I really wanted to chase. But I don't. Other than having that belt, there's not there's probably no point in putting such a good fight for nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
That's I
So
get
like,
that.
so for me, if I won the IBF title, then yeah, I'd defend it against her because it's for something.
Here's the thing, though, real quick. I just want to make this one point. I feel like y'all two are very similar, and I don't mean that style wise. I don't mean that ability wise. What I mean that is in the same position. She's had a ton of trouble, getting fights and working, with promoters, or I should say, promoters working with her.
She beat Roman last year too.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I think that would be a great fight, but I do understand what you're saying because again, she's in the same position where it's like she's looking to knock somebody off. Like those of us that have been for boxing for a long time, we've heard Melissa's names, we heard your name. With Bridges, it's kind of like another aspect of the sport that we all understand. The Jake Paul-ish. And I don't want to. You know what? I shouldn't even said that. Never mind.
Well,
I know what you mean.
of the 4 champions,
I know you know what I mean.
So like Dorsland, you got Bridges, Avila, Mitchell. If you could rank them from worst to best, how would you rank them?
Bridges worst. Then I'd probably go Mitchell. I'm not saying that they're bad, but Mitchell,
Right, gotcha.
Thorsland, and Avila. But when I was looking at her, I was like, her on BoxRec it says that she's 152 centimeters tall, and her reach is 180 centimeters. Like, surely that's an error. That's crazy.
You're talking about Bridges?
No, Avila.
Oh, Avila. Okay.
Yeah.
180
180 centimeter reach. Have you seen that? And she's 152 centimeters tall. Because the reason I was looking is because I'm tall.
Wow.
I'm the tallest in the division, and I've never been told that I'm tall in my life. So
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Could be in her. I think it is, but we'll
Yeah.
check on that. I'll email BoxRec. They probably won't answer, but I'll email them. Look, I have a couple of just wondering a couple of things. So, was there a point during your shoulder injury that you thought it might be over?
about 1,000 every day.
Okay.
Like I literally couldn't lift my arm. I couldn't even throw in like that. I just couldn't do it. I had to, like, even driving, I had to like get my hand and put it on the wheel and then make it move with the other hand.
Wow.
Like I had to everything. I couldn't hold a bottle of water. I couldn't drink a coffee. I couldn't lift it to my face.
Wow. Okay.
That injury occurred in training, correct?
No, well, I mean, like, I think it's just sort of, it was the build up, but then it happened in my fight with Taylor Robertson.
It happened in the
6th round.
Okay.
Yeah, after the 6th round, I sat in the court. I said, I can't feel my arm. And yeah, I tore the labrum and there was chunks of cartilage just floating around.
Oh, man.
Oof.
Wow.
Like, actually, I saw a photo of me like fully extending with a jab, and you can see that my shoulder is dislocated.
Wow.
But because it was just rolling around, it sort of would go out and back in, and yeah,
That's tough to listen.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
when he went in, the surgeon said to me after the surgery, he said, I should have replaced it. You need a shoulder replacement, but I know that you wouldn't be able to box again after it, and you probably would have tried to punch me out if I told you that. So he just cleaned it up as much as he could. But yeah,
wow.
So at some point,
eventually I need a replacement.
Wow. Okay, man.
Okay. So how did it feel after your last fight? Was there any issues with the shoulder at all? Any soreness, extra soreness?
No, like it blew up a little bit, but we got it under control pretty quickly. Like, it's sore every day. Like, it hurt, even sitting here now, I can feel it. It's sore, but I can use it. So
what are the kind of what are the kind of things
Sorry?
you do? I mean, you're past the rehab stage, obviously, but what are the kinds of things that you do to, I guess, like strengthen it, I guess?
I still do rehab every day. I
do
don't think
still
I'll
do-
ever not
okay.
now. Like, I mean,
Like band
my
work
biggest
and stuff
thing,
like that?
yeah, lots of band work. I mean, I used to use just 2 kilo weights to punch. Now I've got 0.5 kilo weights, and every night at home, I'm just trying to get endurance in my shoulder. And like it's getting better. I mean, before my last fight, it was great. But my biggest thing has always been warming up. Like, I'm the kind of person I'll be like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
I know exactly what
Right
you
now,
mean.
I have to get to training like half an hour early just to warm up.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
No,
and
you're
heat
absolutely
and
right.
ice and like, I mean, the things I have to do, like, when I organize sparring with someone, I'll say, okay, we're sparring at 12. I get there at 11:30 just so I'm not holding everyone up.
Yeah, that's such a great point. You know, people don't understand that when it comes to like the highest level of athletics, like the warm-ups are workouts in their own. You know, they can be 30 minutes, band work, stretching, dynamic stretching, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you're in such incredible shape that people would probably assume you could just jump into it, but that's just not how it works.
Yeah, well, I've always just done, like, my first round that's normally my warm-up.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
I have a question here from, well, actually, real quick statement. So it just reminds you of like the Tin Man from like the Wizard of Oz. You have to put like the oil to move it.
Right.
But Remy's asking, Shannon, thoughts on Sky Nicholson?
Sky Nicholson, she was a really good amateur. I mean, Olympian, Commonwealth Games gold medalist. She's obviously going to be well taken through the pros and looked after. So, I mean, to me, I watch her and she's still got quite an amateur style. So, but I think with fights, she's you know, she's slowly getting there, and I think, you know, she's going to get taken the right way. But we should obviously got good management, so you know, she can go as far as she wants.
All right, now I want to ask you a question about what's with this whole Ebony told Eddie Hearn to like not let you go to England or like in the matchroom cards or something. What's that about?
Look, I don't know. It's sort of rumors. I was told by another fighter that she sort of got in Eddie's ear and said not to like, I think it was when Shannon Courtney was supposed to defend her title. And what's her name? The one that beat her pulled out, got injured. The one that beat her.
The tall girl, right?
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Her name will come up. It'll come up.
Yeah, so she pulled out. She got injured or COVID or something, and so we were like saying like, we're here. I'll jump in. And apparently Ebony got in Eddie's ear and said, no, I'm on PEDs and all this other crap. That I mean, that was hard for me to handle because I work hard. Like, I train hard, and people saying that I was a drug cheat, to me, that's taking away my hard work. I'm not a drug cheat. I've never. You know, I've been told all the same rumors about her. That's how she cuts weight, and I mean, if you see photos of her, she's quite over the weight limit just by looking at her, and she gets down. And people have said to me, "Oh, that's how she does it. She's on PEDs." I'm like, whatever. I've had all those rumors said about me, so unless I had facts, I don't want to hear it.
Fair
like,
enough.
it's not nice. I mean, obviously, if you Rachel, obviously, if you are a drug cheat, then say it. But I'm not. So it was horrible to hear people saying about that about me. And the majority of the people that were saying it were people that didn't train hard, think that they train hard, but don't train hard. They're just jealous.
Yeah, I seen your training, and you're like Spider-Man all the time. You're working on. Like, man, I'm tired of just watching. I'm just gonna keep drinking my beer. What? Just a couple of questions here. You know, what got you into the sport of boxing, and at what age?
I started boxing when I was 20. I used to play netball, and I had a bad back. To me now, I look at it and go, whatever. It's you guys don't have netball. It's like kind of like basketball, but you don't move with the ball, and it's more of a girl sport.
Okay.
Well, it is a girl sport. It's just a ball. It's a team sport. It's big in Australia though. And I went down. My grandparents knew the guy that owned the gym down the road. He raced speedway with my dad. My dad died when I was 2, so they took me down there, and I just got instantly hooked with how hard the sport was. I had a real hard upbringing, so for me, I was able to relate. And then, I got hooked, and ended up just being obsessed with it. And that was at the age of 20.
I was at the age of 20, and how much longer? Because everyone has an hourglass. So how much longer do you see yourself in the sport?
As long as my body, exactly. Actually, I've said that a few times, and my shoulders sort of telling me, no, mate. As long as my brain will let me do it, I guess. My body, I'll fix that. As long as I'm just not slurring my words and I'm fit and healthy, then I'm not going to stop.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm hoping that my team around me will tell me when I am starting to have had enough.
Definitely. Go ahead, Dean.
No, well, I mean, hopefully, it holds up just long enough for a couple more fights. As a fan of boxing, and look, and I don't know if this will, like, obviously, I have a feeling she's going to watch this, but and she'll probably be mad or whatever. But in all seriousness, I want to see the fight as a fan of boxing. Why not? I think it'll be an exciting fight, to be honest, and I want to see it. And why not? But go ahead, Mario.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to ask you your thoughts and I guess predictions, if you want to give them, on the Michaela Mayer, Alicia Baumgardner, Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall card, which is such a huge card. For those of us, and like you've been in the sport for so long, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, a card like that, I mean, you couldn't even think of it on this stage. So it's such a huge moment, I think, for everyone. It kind of lifts the sport of women's boxing up altogether. But what are your thoughts on it? And predictions that you might have?
Oh, I think it's huge. It's amazing. Like to be able to finally make those two fights, because they've been spoken about for so long, but to have them on the same card, like you almost think they both deserve their own card, but to have them on the same card, it's going to be huge. Predictions, I think Maya will win that fight. I don't know about Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. It's a good fight. Like I don't know. I think I'm on the fence. I don't even know who I want to win. Like I like them both.
Yeah, I get you on that.
Like you'd be happy for a draw in that fight. Like they both deserve it.
Yeah, I think Marshall's going to take it, but we'll see. But it's a good fight, though. I can't wait.
She's more the nice girl in it, so you sort of think, yeah, but
true.
Like all this hype isn't just pretend around Clarissa Shields. So
okay. Now, one last question after you. Do you know more or less when you're going to be fighting again? Like more or less a date?
August. I think sort of. I just lost the near thing. Sorry. They're looking at August 24th or 25th, whatever the Wednesday night is over here. So it's about 6 weeks.
Okay.
We were hoping to get the Bridges fight in September, or even if it got pushed out, then we would have waited for it. But if that's not going to happen, then I'm just going to keep busy.
On Canelo's undercard?
Do you, in your heart, do you think she's going to fight you?
No.
Probably not going to get the fight.
I think, to be honest, I think she'll vacate before she fights me.
Wow.
That makes sense, to be honest with you. If she's not going to fight you, she's probably going to vacate, right?
Yeah, I think that she would hate to lose to me, and she would vacate rather than fighting me.
I don't say one more quick, but what? Why? Like why you? Like what is it about you that she wouldn't be able? Like she lost to Shannon Courtney. She seemed okay afterwards, right?
I think just because I'm another Aussie. She doesn't like.
Okay.
This hate that we've got going on, like she said all these, she says all these things about me. She's got me blocked on everything. Like, so she's saying it knowing that she can't bully me. Like she tried to bully Shannon Courtney because she knows that I'll put it to her. Like why say all these things about someone but block them so they can't see it?
Just you're blocked.
Yeah, like I don't even know why.
And I just want to say, all these dudes out here running interference, saying, "Oh, who is she?" and this and that. All I know is that if you're a real boxing fan, you want to see like that. That's the whole point. Like a contender is supposed to want to fight for the championship. It's not clout chasing when you want to fight the champion.
I'm not chasing the big, like she's the big name. I'm not chasing that. I'm chasing a belt that I deserve. And anyone that, to me, I mean, I get it. Even for Eddie, I get that it's a business. But if you're a true boxing person, you know that I deserve that belt more than she does. And I deserve the shot at fighting for it. If I don't win it, then okay, I don't deserve it. But if I deserve the shot at fighting for that belt.
Would you be
and I know that Eddie knows that. But it's a business. I'm hoping that, with the noise that people are sort of making around it, that he sees that it's a good business deal.
Hopefully, so we want to see this fight. See, I think her avoiding you and talking about you this way, and then now we know she's blocked you. It's making people want to watch you more. But it's making sense though. Like I remember when Marco Antonio Barrera was like just didn't, and Eric Morales didn't like each other, right? And I remember he said a line. He said, "I'll lose to anybody before I lose to him," right? Because he didn't want to lose to another Mexican, like for whatever. It just not to him. You know what I mean? So maybe. What about you though? Do you care? Like if you lost to her, would it hurt more than another loss? Like if we keep it real, like would it be more painful?
Probably, yeah. But I've not actually even considered losing to her. That's how confident I am. And I'm not someone that works on confidence. I'm the most nervous fighter you'll ever come across when it comes to
Can you beat her with one hand? Because that could happen in the middle of the fight.
Well, I'd hope that adrenaline takes over, but yeah, I can beat her with one hand. Like I mean, even when I watched her fight with Roman, I was 2 weeks out of my second surgery, and I even said she's obviously worked on her jab a bit, but I've still got a better jab than her. I can barely move mine, but it's still a better jab than her. Like my jab at 80% is better than hers. So yeah, I can beat her with one hand.
Yeah, I love the confidence. Hey, that's how fighters should talk either way. So we definitely appreciate it. Shotgun O'Connell. Tell everybody where they could find you on social media and all that good stuff. And anything else you want to say to the people watching?
Oh, just thanks for watching, and share it around, and let's make this fight happen. True boxing people will want this fight to happen. They'll want the belt to be in someone's hands that deserves it. My social media is Shotgun Shannon O'Connell on Facebook, and I think it's Shotgun Shannon 1 on Twitter, and Shotgun 78 on Insta.
There we go. Hey, I appreciate your time, and you have a good rest of your Friday. Like it's Friday over there. It's crazy. I was going to say night, but it's not nighttime yet.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, right?
Oh, Tuesday. My bad. Wow. Anyway, yes,
it's
Tuesday.
Nearly lunchtime though.
You know why I said Friday? It's my Friday. This is I got out of work. It's my Friday. That's why.
Nice.
But either way, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
the
Shannon.
rest of your Tuesday. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. All right, there we go, and we're being joined by Bruce Goss and the boxing historian. How's it going, brothers?
It's going good. How are you?
I was muted. I was enjoying that lovely conversation. The lovely woman boxer there, Shannon, the Shotgun O'Connell, and I could so relate to that shoulder problem, man, because that's why I smoke a lot of the weed. Wink, wink, because I have. I was told by a orthopedic surgeon the only way I can cure the pain is by double shoulder replacement, and man, and the recuperating time for that, man, they told me that 20 years ago. And anyway, man, great interview, D Styles and Mario, man. Good to have you guys. Good to be with you, cats, and the historian brother. Shout out to you, man.
Shout out to you too, Bruce.
I'm in Friday. I don't know what
I'm ready to shut it down.
I've not even one full beer. I'm calling Tuesday, Friday. But anyway, it is what it is. It is my Friday though. That's why. But how's it going, man? Historian. What you think of her, and do you think Bridges will duck?
Ebony Bridges from Matchroom, right? The provocative boxer, right? Shit, man. Look, this, as you guys were talking to her, I was looking at some of her highlights and whatnot. Because of course, I've not seen her fight, but.
Gotcha.
Before, but I think that hey, if her and Ebony Bridges can happen, it should happen.
They got beef. Settle it in the ring. Shit.
Exactly. And my thing here's what I would say about Ebony though. I do believe that Ebony would have a little bit of reluctancy to fight this chick because excuse me, this lady. But at the same time. I guess the Aussies have another star.
You call Bridges a chick, but you put respect in Shotgun O'Connell, right? Like, I'm just saying. Willie boxing Zurdo versus Zurdo versus Bivol ordered boxing on fire, man. Man, oh man, Bivol's gonna box circles around that dude, like circles around him. This is crazy.
Zurdo, man.
Man, I'm just saying. He's in a box circles around. Let's start with that. Let's start with that breaking news. Zurdo versus Bivol. Hey, you bros been waiting to talk. So let's start with you, TBH. I know you're rolling with Zurdo. You know what I mean? So talk to us.
Look, I mean, initially I would roll with Zurdo. He's a big light heavyweight, 6'3" and whatnot, with good power. I wouldn't say devastating power.
215 pounds on Fight Night and shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. These same day weigh-ins in this modern day time in boxing, but should be at cruiserweight really. But I mean, the dude's big and whatnot, but I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, he has no. Here's the thing, and it's no knock. I mean, he has his 43. He's 43-0 or 44-0. You can correct me either which way. Here's the thing about Zurdo. He has power. He has a good chin. He comes forward. All right. You use your physical gifts to your advantage. If you're that type of dude with that kind of size, that's what you do. But it's not going to work. Being big, strong, and powerful is only going to work for a certain amount of time until you face an elite level boxer. He's the type of dude that he doesn't have. If you're gonna have that and not have no kind of head movement or any kind of actual skill set and actually cutting the ring off, you better have at least some hand speed or some reflexes. He does not have either one. He's very slow. And against someone like Bivol, who has above average hand speed, really good hand speed actually, great footwork, master boxer. I mean, I've always been high on him. Going back to when people were saying that Ward wanted nothing to do with them back in 2018 or 2017 or however which way, that jab is going to be in Zurdo's face all night. All right. Does not matter about the reach. Does not matter about the height. The elite jab is going to be in his face all night. That counter punch, the ability to put his punches together is one of the best in boxing. People could say a basic 1-2, very effective. He's going to make Zurdo look very, very amateurish. He's going to make him look very, very rudimentary. And he really is. And unless he catches him with something, and mind you, has a good chin. I mean, we've seen that he was able to take some shots from Canelo, who's a good puncher himself, who has one of the best left hooks in boxing. Zurdo's not going to Zurdo. I mean, he has probably about a 30% chance, but I'm giving a 70% chance of Bivol really. He's going to make him look way worse than what he did Canelo. And Canelo probably only won like maybe 3 or 4 rounds in that fight at the very most.
Damn. Shout out to Nando Yama. He says, boxing hipsters about to be clowned by Zurdo. Man, it's what do you think about this fight? Bruce Goss. What do you think of the fight, brother?
I like it, man. Bivol, we're waiting for him in Beterbiev, but how long are we going to be waiting around here, man? So stay busy. Zurdo is probably the third most mentioned boxer in the division right now. It's absolutely a fight that I want to see, and I'm not the kind of a person who goes for this fighting once a year, even twice a year. Kind of, I look at it as a soft way out, but. If you're going to fight this infrequently, at least fight quality opponents. And next to Beterbiev and Bivol, this is the fight that I'd like to see at light heavyweight, man. So bring it on, my brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. Mario, what's your reaction, brother? Who do you favor in the fight? Nice shirt, by the way.
First of all, thank you. I appreciate it. First of all, okay, I don't have any problems with the fight. I just want to make this very clear. I don't have any problems with the fight. The reason I don't have any problems with the fight is because Buatsi's already happening. So who gives a shit? Like, Bruce is right. Bruce is absolutely right. The fight that we want to see, y'all already know. Y'all know who it is. Okay, this isn't hard. This isn't rocket scientist. You don't need to pay your matchmaker 6 figures to tell you that Beterbiev and Bivol is the fight to make. And why don't you go ask a couple of light heavyweights named Kovalov and Stevens, and let's ask them how smart it is for light heavyweights to just avoid each other, and build the fight up even more. Ultimately, what's going to happen here is Bivol wins. And shout out to Nando. Yo, that guy, man, he rocks with his people, and I love that. That's cool. But for me, no, I've seen Zurdo live so many times. I saw probably like the first maybe like 5 out of his first 15 fights live, legit. He's a big guy. We can say that. You know, he utilizes his gifts very well in the ring against the competition he's been facing. But all this is a means of building Bivol up for the rematch that at some point is going to happen in the next year or two, probably 2 or 3 years. And that's what we're looking for. All we want is to build Bivol up. That's fine. You want to give Zurdo away. You want to, disrupt whatever cash he's making there with Golden Boy and put him in there and put him in that ring. That's fine. But understand that it is fodder for bigger fights down the road, whether that be with Better Beef or whether that be a second fight with Canelo. In my opinion, and it's a humble one, Zurdo has 15% chance or less to win this fight. I don't think he knocks out Bivol. That's not going to happen. He's not going to outclass Bivol. So when you start going down the lines and the means for which Zurdo could have his hand raised at the end of the night, you're going to realize that it's just not going to happen.
This fight's going to look very similar to Sergio Martinez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. without the knockdown.
Love it.
There's not going to be a knockdown in the fight.
Love it.
And what did Sergio do in that fight? He just kept moving his feet. They didn't allow the slower Chavez Jr. to set his feet at any point during that fight, other than that hiccup in the 12th, and that's about it. And you know what? Yes, he's going to be outweighed probably by 20 pounds, if we're honest. Like, he's going to outweigh Bivol by a lot. But Bivol doesn't – it's not like Bivol goes in there and, like slugs it out with guys. Like, that's not how he fights. You know what I mean?
No way.
So Bivol's going to be moving, and all that extra weight that he rehydrates to, he's going to be carrying all that extra weight, and he's going to start getting tired in the fight. I see Bivol boxing him 11-1. He's going to give away the 12th. That's it. What Martinez should have done in a junior fight. He's going to be dancing his way in the 12th, 11-1. And if it ain't 11-1, I got my prediction wrong. How about that? It'll be 11-1. If it's 10-2, D-Style didn't get the prediction right. How about that?
And leaves YouTube for no, I'm just playing. I
don't know about that one. 11-1 or it ain't right. How about that? What do you think about that, historian?
Well, I think that's I mean, look, I'm trying to give what's his name, Zurdo something. You understand? I'm trying to give him something.
I give him a round. I give him something.
I mean, look, I'm being generous saying 30% just because of the size difference. You know, hey, it could play a factor, but see, when you do that madness where you're cutting excess amount of weight just to get to a certain weight class, I mean, and then you fight an elite level boxer, it's going to catch up to you eventually, man, doing all that. And especially, you know, where you try to rehydrate and try to eat to get back. That's kind of, it's very risky. And I think that to me, he's just too freaking slow, man. He's too freaking slow, man. And Bivol he's gonna be on him all night. He's gonna slip it. He's gonna slip a lot, most of his punches. He's gonna score points on Zurdo. Zurdo gonna get tired, man.
Hey, I got Zurdo putting fans to sleep, says Tim Gallegos. Hey, Calix, I don't know if you heard me when I said this, but it's 11-1 Bivol or nothing. If Zurdo wins 2 rounds, my prediction's wrong. Okay? All right? Like, I got Bivol winning this fight at worst, 11-1. What do you think?
Zurdo's been looking good, man. He's been looking good, but
with a cowboy hat on, I'm not in the ring, but with the cowboy hat, he looks good. Really quick, Steve Munoz, you guys think Bivol versus Zurdo will be pay-per-view? You can answer that if you want, Callis, but you give us your thoughts on the fight, and who do you favor?
hopefully not pay-per-view. But I love that fight. The fights that I wanted to, if we're not getting Bivol, Better Biev next, which is what I want. Get straight to the point. And I think that's what all boxing fans want. If we're not going to get that next, and we're going to get Better Biev versus Yard, which I don't like. I'd rather Better Biev versus Boazzi, from being honest. But I'd much rather Bivol versus Zurdo than Bivol versus Boazzi, which they were talking about. I think it's a good fight. I do think Zurdo will be more offensive-minded in this fight because he's facing a defensive-minded fighter in Bivol. So I don't think I just don't see this fight playing out stylistically as the Zurdo type of fighter that we saw a couple years ago. The past couple Zurdos we've seen, the past couple fights, not the biggest name fighters he's fighting. So he's been more offensive minded, more exciting. And I think we're going to get more of that against Bivol because I just don't see him being the shy fighter in this fight.
Okay, all right. And you know, when you say I don't think it'll be pay-per-view, I hope not. If I see the zone pay-per-view for this shit,
no.
I swear to God, I paid the fucking year subscription, bro. Like, give me a fucking break. Can you give me a break? Can the little guy get a break? All right? I'm a taxpayer. I'm a subscriber. All right? Give me a break. You know, and don't mail me a Kit Kat bar. All right?
It's a meaningful fight, though, D-Style. And
we're trying to say that it's pay-per-view?
No, I'm not. But it's a meaningful fight to get excited about. And I hope they put it in L.A. It belongs there. And every time Zurdo fights, Golden Boy does this thing where they put up a graphic, road to 51-0 or whatever it is, road to 50-0.
No, they don't. Do they?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be TBE, bro. Like if he wins this fight.
Every time Zurdo's about to walk to the ring, they put road to it's either 50-0 or 51-0. So this is a big gamble. I thought when they were doing that, I was like, oh, they're going to definitely milk this for a while. Zurdo's not stepping up for a while, but Zurdo's ready. He's fighting Bivol. He's not getting a 50-51-0.
I cannot believe they're doing. I have not seen that in his fight. Yes. I have not seen that grab. So it's like a purposeful ploy to like use Floyd's record and then like get him over the kind of like I guess like a hyped up version of what they did for Belonga, I guess.
And they do it before his walk-ins. They put it up on the graphic.
All I know is that like there's all these dudes out here like, yeah, Zurdo. Like they think it means Zorro or some cool shit. It just means left-handed. That's all it means. It don't mean nothing special. Okay?
I learned that in Little League.
It's the lamest nicknames in left hook lacy. Or I wonder what type of punch he's gonna throw. Like I don't know. Like shit. Like you know whatever. Okay. But look, 11-1. Oh, I got it wrong. If you don't win 11-1, you come and say, D-Style, you were wrong. He won 2 rounds. That's how confident I am that Bills in our boxes do.
And he'll shave his head.
I don't know about that one. I mean, come on. I still got a forehead and everything. You know what I mean? No offense to Talix or nothing like that, but I still got my hair. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Hey, my hair's thinning too, so I'm not.
It's all right. He's 6'5". I could make fun of him.
Oh, well, then, yeah. Forget it.
Remember Chris Rock said that? He said he could make fun of tall people? I'm just saying. But anyway, check it out. You could be being a game of basketball. You feel better?
I'll dunk on you.
But let's talk about this weekend's fights, man. Let's talk about Rey Vargas. Is he El Rey of 126 pounds? Is he that dude after beating Magsayo? Calix, start us off.
No. He's now. I've never seen like if Vargas would have jabbed. If he would have jabbed in this fight, and it was so weird because there's 2 Hall of Fame trainers in each. There's one in each corner. Nacho, you got Freddie on the other side, and I didn't see any direction about the jab. Rey could have jabbed, and made this night a lot easier for himself. He wouldn't have had to sweat it out late. He wouldn't have gotten hit with a big shot in the 9th round. He forgets his jab, and he decides to trade. And I expected him to trade more with Mark Magsayo in this fight because this is what Mark Magsayo does. He lures guys into trading. So I say, okay, Vargas forgot the jab. So he's leaving it on the table for Magsayo. But what does Magsayo do? Magsayo is a guy who averages 30 jabs per round, something like that. And then he forgets the jab. And you say, okay, it's against a taller fighter, so that's to be expected. No, it's not. There are different variations in the jab. He could have doubled, tripled up the jab to get on the inside. He could have slipped jab like Usyk did against Joshua, against a taller fighter. Good jabbers figure it out against taller fighters. So Magsayo forgets the jab, and he's out there wailing, trying to land one big shot at a time. just rushing in and getting caught. So both guys forget the jab. Had one of these guys decided, I'm going to throw 25 to 30 jabs per round, they would have won the fight. Vargas would have won it easier. He'd have made the night easier for himself. And Magsayo had the fight on the table, and then he doesn't jab. And then on top of that, he says, not only am I not going to jab, but I'm going to raise you not being aggressive after I hurt you in the 9th round. Wasn't aggressive in the 10th round, wasn't aggressive in the 11th. And then Rey Vargas outworks him in the 12th round as well.
Hey, real quick, I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to give a shout out to the stalkers. Man, they're just watching all the time. But go ahead.
And I just blocked one of them.
Who are they?
Right.
I don't know.
But it was just frustrating to watch, but it was a fun fight at the same time. Fun, competitive fight. And do I think Rey is the king of the 126? No. Navarrete is the top, and Figueroa is right beneath him already entering the division. Figueroa is a beast. I was impressed with him again. And I'll say this, your guy Rey Vargas is out there. He sounds a little sketchy to me when Figueroa's name comes up. Oh, you want to fight Figueroa, who just won right before you in the Eliminator? No, I want to fight Leo Santa Cruz, another Mexican fighter. Let me fight Leo Santa Cruz. And then today, he's interviewed by, I believe, Boxing Scene, and he's saying, I have too much to lose by fighting Figueroa and not enough to gain. Come on. D-Style, get that out of here. Get that out of here. Give us Rey Vargas versus Figueroa. But Figueroa is putting 126 on notice. You want a fighter who can throw 130 punches per round? Almost 1 punch per second? I'm that guy, and I'm taking over.
Check it out. But check it out. Check it out, though. Check it out. Check it out. But is he el rey? You know what I mean? Yo sé muy bien que estoy afuera, pero el día que yo me muera.
Rey is the perfect matchup for Figueroa. Figueroa will get on
Oh,
the
that's a rock
inside of
song,
that
by the way.
jab
but-
and destroy the body. Destroy it.
No, it's not. That was the right song.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is the right song. What am I talking about?
Yo daddy, yo. Oh, my bad. Never mind.
That's right.
That's all right. Y'all don't want me to grito in here. I did it in
Yeah,
fifth
you
grade.
got to do it. You know what I mean? It's a
I did
rule.
it- I did it in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it right now, though.
Well, all I know is he el rey of the division. Yes or no? Mario, is he that dude at 126?
Unfortunately, no. Here's the reason why. Rey
So
Vargas.
who is the dude?
I don't think there is a dude right now. I really don't. I think that if you want to talk about like who's the longest reigning, names or like the, senors, for lack of a better term. I mean, there's Leo Santa Cruz, right? Nobody has as many big fights. Nobody sold as many tickets in the division. Nobody's done as much as he has. I also think he's one of the most beatable guys there for some of these guys. So, like you could look and point to everybody differently. But Rey Vargas, this is my problem with, calling him the king of the division. All right. He was beatable that night. Like, and I'm not trying to say that if you're beatable, it doesn't mean you can't be this or that. But we've seen guys in this division like Navarrete. You do that. You fight that fight with Navarrete. You fight that fight and see what the fuck happens. And the Kings, they don't have that happen to them. That's what they don't have that happen. You can't do things like that. And of course, like I'm just speaking hyperbolically, I'm speaking, with my own bias kind of set in stone. But let's see how many of you people want to like raise your hands and say, oh, I'll put money on Rey versus Navarrete. I'll put money. Look, first of all, if Lee Wood gets looked over, I just want to make that point real quick. That's a travesty. That's a fucking travesty in boxing. We all need to protect that. It's not going to work. They don't give a shit what we think, right? But that man deserves his opportunity, and they've already said they were going to give it to him. So you want to go back on your word and look like a piece of shit, that's fine. But at this point, I cannot say he is the king of this division because there's too many princes. That sounded weird. You know what? Pause. Let me roll that back. There's too many gestures out there, that are viable in that position. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah. My bad.
Ooh, at least you didn't say it was Friday. You know what I mean? But shout out to Ice Cube. Hey, TBH is Rey Vargas, el rey, the king. of 126 after this performance. He
Man,
beat
fuck
Mark
no.
Magsayo. He beat the next Manny Pacquiao.
Man,
You beat him.
First off, yeah, and I saw what you said on Twitter the other day, right? D-style,
that?
man.
What did I say?
I know you
I say a lot of
like to drink. I know you drink Modelo's and whatnot, but you need to lay off of that shit. Ray Vargas. I mean, look, he got a good jab. He's rangy. He can box, and it's very impressive that he beat someone who in Mark Magsayo, you know, the so-called supposed next Manny Pacquiao, even though he doesn't even have a fraction of what Pacquiao used to have. All right, a guy who's just a puncher. I mean, the dude, he got dropped by the same guy who throws telegraph overhand rights pretty much every time he's in the ring, right? Who has no skill in the ring. Let's just keep it a buck, all right? And he's supposed to have the better talent, the better skill set. And then yes, he was coming off a 3-year layoff. And by the way, before I continue on, Brandon Figueroa, very impressive. I mean, he still keeps the power and the high volume. I mean, I thought the dude was going to give him a little bit of a box lesson before he knocked the dude out, but he got him out of there within 3 rounds. So, you know, I'm very impressed by Brandon Figueroa, even though he got ran out the division by, Steve Fulton. Still impressive. But Rey Vargas is not beating no goddamn Navarrete, man. And look, I'll say this: I'm a fan of Navarrete. He's one of my top 10 favorite boxers to watch today. So I might be a little bit of biasness, but the man hits hella hard. That lead uppercut is vicious as hell. And his sporadic footwork is going to give someone of that kind of boxing acumen of Rey Vargas problems, man. If he got dropped by Mark Magsayo, right, who cannot throw any feints. He doesn't throw no feints. He doesn't set nothing up. He doesn't throw no jab. He don't even try to jab to get on the inside. If he was able to catch him, what do you think Navarrete, who actually uses footwork, who uses feints, who uses a little bit of things to set up his shots, what do you think he's going to do? As long as his cardio is there, he's going to knock the shit out of Rey Vargas easily.
I can't talk. Yo, Bruce Goss, talk to us about Rey Vargas, El Rey. Translation, king. Is he the king of 126 after defeating this generation's Manny Pacquiao?
Well, it's a very, very, very scattered country, and there are a lot of kings out there. But this was the accumulation of a real decent Saturday. And I want to go back and talk about the heavyweight fights later too, because I think that was the best entertainment of the afternoon. But anyway, bro, Rey Vargas and Magsayo. I wanted to see what Magsayo was going to look like after that defeat of a compromised Gary Russell Jr. And like we said, man, we had Nacho Berenstein and we had Freddie Roach there, and that right there was a lot of excitement. I kind of wanted to see what was going on there. You got 2 Hall of Fame trainers there, and I could see Magsayo trying to imitate Manny Pacquiao, but he was more like a Walmart version of Manny Pacquiao. He's got the facial expressions down, but he doesn't have those crisp combinations on the inside, and I can see Freddie Roach kind of frustrated and on the sidelines, and Vargas, man, Vargas did what he had to do, bro. He came in there. People weren't giving him much of a chance. A lot of people tell, oh, he's over the hill. He's slowed way down. Look how old he is, man. He's taking on a young firecracker from the Philippines with Manny's blessings, man. This is going to be an easy fight. And bro, I go into almost all fights now 50-50. Even though some are more obvious than others, I kind of look for miracles. I kind of look for action, excitement, whatever it may be. I like to be entertained, not have a foregone conclusion on the fight. And this one, I definitely went in there looking for entertainment, and I got it too, bro. I saw Vargas get that title. He was so happy that he got it, and like my brother Callie was saying, man, he was just throwing these fucking combinations on the outside. A lot of them went landing, and and Magsayo, he just didn't seem to want to be in range. He could have done a lot more. The fight was jabs weren't even existing in the fight. And like you said, man, if either one of these fighters had just thrown a steady jab, accumulated points, I think it would have made a vast difference in either way in the scorecard, because it was a razor thin ending, man. It could have went either way, and the way boxing is today, I'm not going to the fucking winners window until I hear and the new or still, because anything can happen in these fights. And bro, it was cool. It was a good fucking exciting fight. And the Figueroa and Castro, man, Figueroa was getting outboxed when Castro made his stand, but but Figueroa, he showed he was the better fighter, and like I said, a lot of kings in that division. Let's see what's going on, bro. Let's see some fucking action there, man. I was always loved, but back in the 70s and the 80s, the featherweight division, man, that was fucking where Danny Little Red Lopez came from, and Wilfredo Gomez and Bobby Chacon and fucking even Alexis Aguayo. It was always real fucking kings down there. And let these guys just fight more often, clean out the pretenders from the contenders, and let's see if Vargas can give us some thrilling fights. Fight Figueroa, man. Fight Schoolboy, Cool Boy. I mean, there's a lot of fights to be made, and they can only be benefited by cats like us,
Word. You're on mute, D.
By the way, this is Nacho Bernstein and Rey Vargas backstage taking a celebration. What a coincidence that Nacho Libre, and then nobody told me Rey Vargas was a movie star. What's going on with that? Nobody told me this dude was doing this thing. But real quick, Ricky Ricardo, I pay Vargas by decision, but he still got road work to do. Basically, Ramirez, Warrington, Navarrete, Lee Wood, Russell. Let's see what happened. Russell's a one-handed dude. Warrington is food. Okay, Robesi Ramirez ain't ready for nobody. You guys trying to push Robesi Ramirez to get beat up already.
He looked good, man. He looked good last fight.
He looked really good, but I mean, look, it is what it is. Take your time. Take your time. You know what I mean? Shout out to Raw Boxing, but your dude ain't ready. You know what I mean? He ain't ready for El King, El Rey. He trained with Nacho Libre, brother. You know what I mean? He was tough. And by the way, I get it. Oh, he didn't throw his jab. Look, I got mad at him because he didn't throw his jab either. Here's the difference between Magsayo and Rey Vargas. Rey Vargas has a good jab. Magsayo does not. Okay? Magsayo could have tried. It wouldn't have. You know what? Vargas would have just used his. You know what I mean? He just showed people, look, I could beat this dude without a jab. You should be impressed by that.
It was just weird seeing him not use the jab, though, because it could have – the way Magsayo was fighting – Vargas could have had a much easier night than he had he dedicated himself to the jab. I mean, Magsayo would have had so much trouble.
He's the next bro. Like, we had to do like showbiz, how they call it, the next Manny Pacquiao, brother. There's a lot of dudes calling him that. I know why you were doing it. How does it taste now? If you guys don't mind, not you guys, but how does it taste? Does your jaw hurt still or what? Huh? What's going on? But in all seriousness, let me tell you guys something, okay? Rey Vargas did not fight his best fight, and I have Nacho Bernstein, his old trainer, to confirm that. Nacho Bernstein was like, "What are you doing?" That's literally one of the things he told him when he got back to the corner. What are you doing? And another time he told him, "What's wrong with you?" Like, he literally told him that. Like, what's wrong with you? Well, calm down. He told him to calm down. He told him, like, one round where he actually used the jab, he said, "Dad, keep doing that. Use the jab." So this whole thing that he said he was going to stand there and not jab and just fight, I don't know about that. That's not smart. I'm not saying go out there and be negative as fuck like Israel and Lara now. That's not what I'm saying. But you could box and be in front of a dude. You could you're allowed to use your jab. You're allowed to do that. You know what I mean?
I'm glad he did, though, because it made for an entertaining, competitive fight. Because it could have been one-sided had Vargas fought that type of fight, right? But I'm glad he fought more trading. Not as intelligent as he could have been, but I'm happy because it ended up being an entertaining fight. It was fun.
Yeah. Is that what that background's about, Mario?
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us the origins of this background. Like, what was your thought process? I'm interviewing you now. Like I was interviewing the Shotgun.
Okay.
What was your thought process while you came up with this background that you have right now? You know what I
Got
mean?
it. Well, that's Hector Jimenez, who played Steven in Nacho Libre Skeletor. And I thought, okay, first of all, I put some equations together and I, back solved. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why I made that so long. He looks like him. And everybody literally on Twitter was like, that looks exactly like Rey Vargas. And I said, you know what? It sure as fuck does. And I'm going to put that as my background in Aftermath. And all the wrestling fans that watch this, they're going to too sweet me. So let's get a virtual too sweet through the camera. Let me line it up. Ready? Right there. Boom. And we did it. So that's about as much thought as I put into it.
All right. Now he did this amazing thing where he called out Leo Santa Cruz. I don't know what that's about. Mario, let's start with you. He called out Leo Santa Cruz, brother.
Yeah.
What was he thinking? What's going on over here?
I mean, he's thinking payday. That's a viable payday for him. Leo Santa Cruz represents exactly a lot of positive things if you're a fighter, right? Because if you beat Leo, and nobody's gonna think about, except for people like us who understand the sport, are gonna think about, well, when did you beat Leo? What's Leo coming off the back of? How much credit do we give the person that beats Leo next as much as we give him when he was fighting Abner Mares, right? How do these things line up? So what Leo represents, and the reason to call him out, is a softer version than he's ever been. And don't get me wrong, you get into a fight with Leo, you're going to feel it. He's a guy who's going to come after you. He's a guy that's not going to back down. But he's also a guy that I think is, to use a term I don't like to use, the lowest hanging fruit, right? He represents so much commercially, plus he's got a belt. I think that it's a smart fight. I think that it's a fight that could be good, because for all the people that are like, oh, Rey's boring, I get it. Don't get me wrong. He's shit the bed plenty of times, but we have seen him fight exciting fights when matched well enough. And in this last fight, he was matched well enough, and the fight was exciting for many, aspects of the fight. I would say Mark pushed that action, but still, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, Leo represents, I don't want to say that cash cow in the same way that De La Hoya was, because that's not it at all. But he, in a sense, does represent this kind of aging cash cow. So it's very similar to Oscar when he was fighting Pacquiao and, when he was kind of just cashing himself out. Do they do that to Leo? I think they would, absolutely. The only issue that I think stands in front of this fight is Lee Wood, because I believe he's the mandatory for Leo's belt, right? And so, this is the fight that they want to make. They want to make Rey. They want to make him versus Leo. It's under the same banner. It's an easier fight to make than most. But if it happens for the belt next, without Lee Wood being taken into any consideration, it is 100% a travesty. Do not let your biasnesses, don't let your fandom, make you misunderstand this situation, because I agree there are better fights out there, right? Like Leo and Rey, but ultimately Lee Wood has earned his shot, so let's give it to him.
All right. TBH, what do you think, brother? Leo Santa Cruz.
Against just anybody, Lee
Well, Rey Vargas called
Wood,
him out. He didn't call anybody out. He called out Leo Santa Cruz.
But he wait. So he didn't call out the other. Nope. He didn't call him out. He didn't call out
Leo Santa Cruz.
Oh,
not Lara, not
Rafael, not Del,
not okay.
Not even Canelo. He called out Leo Santa Cruz.
Leo Santa Cruz.
If I was a boxer, I'd call out Canelo all the time. By the way, I don't give a fuck if I was a flyweight, but I'm just saying. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's the fanboy in you. But I got you. But Leo Santa Cruz. That's an interesting fight. That is an interesting fight because Leo Santa Cruz, he has a decent jab, and of course we know about his volume punching, and he has a chin, and his combination punch is above average.
Mhm.
That's interesting. I think that would be a styles clash because Rey Vargas is a boxer. He's a guy that likes to use range, use the work off the jab. I think that'd be a very tough fight for him, of course, and I think that Leo Santa Cruz and Rey Vargas, that would be a really entertaining fight. I think it'd even be more entertaining and more close and more of a nail biter than the fight that we just witnessed this past Saturday against Mark Magsayo. Now, him calling him out, I give him credit because Cruz is that kind of that top level fighter. I would say if the fight's made, I would say that I'd have to pick Leo just because I think Leo might land a little bit more, couple more punches. I think it's gonna be close.
Man, the disrespect.
I think it's gonna be close, and the reason why I think it's gonna be close because of the styles clash. And I think that when you deal with this fight, I believe that there's gonna be a couple rounds where they're gonna be swing rounds, but I think that the willingness to throw more punches with Leo Santa Cruz, and I don't think Rey Vargas has the power to put him down. All right. I believe that that's going to be the difference, and I think that's going to edge out a 7-5 victory that's going to be very close.
All right. By the way, for the troll that just came on, I just wanted to give you a shout out. I got blocked, baby, please unblock me. Anyway, Bruce Goss, talk to us, brother. He called out Leo Santa Cruz. Is that a fight you're interested at, or do you want to see him fight the other sharks in the division?
Leo Santa Cruz, a viable name. I don't think Leo Santa Cruz is going to be as aggressive as he was after getting slept by Tank. But Leo is a viable name, and Leo gets what he wants to get. He's very, very in with PBC, as we all know. I'd like to see Leo get this fight, and yeah, maybe a cash cow because he does have the name and he does have the following, and people always show up to see Leo Santa Cruz fight. So he's either a notch on the gun or he's going to continue and still create a drawing. And does he have a belt, Leo Santa Cruz, right now? What is he, the
Yes.
Yep.
Amazing.
He hasn't fought in forever, but he still got it.
So he's still viable there, and he still has to kind of follow the sanctioning of the ruling body. So yeah, I'd like to see that fight happen. It's for some marbles, and once again, man, like I said, clear up the featherweight division, and the only way to do it is the fighters and the contenders to fight each other, which we just don't see anymore. We can go down any top 10. Blood just did one today. I was watching one of his videos, the WBA top 10. None of them have fought each other. It's like, how can you possibly rate these guys? I mean, it's insane. So that's why champions should just fight other champions, and let these contenders fight each other, and make some names, make some things happening. I was reading BoxRec the other day, Saturday. There must have been over 50 boxing cards throughout the world being held, and all we knew about were 3 of them. So I mean, there has to be more name fighters fighting each other, headlining these cards. And I mean, right now with the internet, we can pretty much get anything that's televised out there, anything that's being taped. So I mean, let's make boxing more fun and get the top names to fight each other. So yeah, I want to see Leo Santa Cruz and Vargas fight, bro.
Absolutely. Hey, shout out to the trolls though. Hey, Calix, Leo Santa Cruz, that a fight you're clamoring for, you're excited about, because the king wants to show this peasant who's been hanging around too long. He's doing us a favor, bro. He's looking out for us. I think
let me say this too. I didn't mean to flash my bud when Callie was speaking. Mario asked me in the chat, and I wasn't thinking, and I overstepped and I cut into his territory and flashed this beautiful bud of sweet diesel that I'm smoking on right now, man. So Mario, that's what I'm smoking, bro. I got the Toka 2 over here. nice and clean. And Callie,
Nice.
sorry if I cut you off with that, because I know that solid diesel bud will kind of make everybody stop and turn heads, bro. And that was a show stealer. I should have saved that for when I was behind the mic, brother.
Oh man,
I'm on lemon drop.
So Leo Santa Cruz, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, that's what he called out.
D-Style, do you know the last time Leo Santa Cruz fought at 126? You know when that
It was around the Jurassic age, right? When T-Rex was around, something like that.
February 2019. February 2019 is the last time Leo Santa Cruz fought at 126. And guess who still owns the belt?
Some of these trolls weren't even born. This is crazy.
Guess who still owns a belt at 126, even though he hasn't fought in the weight in 41 months?
Wow.
41 months. He just fought at 129, 130. I don't know if it was at a catch weight of 129, I think I remember, or it was full 130. He just fought a couple months ago or earlier this year. So when is he going to be stripped?
What organization is holds
That's
his
the
belt?
WBA. What is that? That's WBA. The WBA is still
The
has
most
him.
corrupt of them all. And
You're talking
they're
about
all-
Leo.
Leo still
Yeah,
got
that's
the
WBA.
WBA strap at 126, and he
Yeah.
hasn't defended it since February of 2019. How?
run by
How?
the Mendoza family.
So, like Mario saying, I'm done with the Leo Santa Cruz thing at 126. If he's going to fight at 126, he's got to fight Lee Wood next, his mandatory. How many?
But Calix, he's doing us a favor. He's going to rid us of Santa Cruz at 126. That's what a king does, brother.
Look, I want to see. Here's what I want to see as a boxing fan. I want to see Rey Vargas fight Brandon Figueroa. That's what I want to see. That's his mandatory now for the WBC. I want to see Leo Santa Cruz defend his strap for the WBA against Lee Wood. Lee Wood earned that shot, along with other guys who didn't get the shot against Leo Santa Cruz. But Lee Wood's got that shot. And that's what I want to see in the division. Look, Rey Vargas, good win on Saturday night. Exciting. He did in exciting fashion. He beat Magsayo. He was actually the favorite coming in against Magsayo, but he won the fight. And I want to see him defend against Figueroa, and that's it. But he's calling out Leo Santa Cruz instead of the guy who just fought in front of him, who is the WBC mandatory. He just won the eliminator. And he's the bigger fight. Would you say Figueroa is the bigger fight than Leo Santa Cruz right now?
Yes.
All right. So what am I missing?
Bigger in terms of what, though?
Uh-oh. It's bigger, bro.
Bigger in
Like, I
terms
mean,
of
I
better?
would say, do you think Figueroa is the bigger name right now than Leo Santa Cruz? Do you think?
No,
Because I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't. I think he's got more. I think he's got more momentum. I think that he's definitely has a bigger ceiling right now. But I think that the name value that, like, look, how many casuals know Leo Santa Cruz that haven't even seen Brandon Figueroa fight yet? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I know how good he is. I know how fun he is, but I can't say that the people that think they watch boxing, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people out there that watch, 10 fights a year and they consider themselves boxing fans, and that they would be going to bat right now so hard for Leo Santa Cruz because they're unaware of every other name in this division currently. He's the only solidified star, I think, right now, right at this moment. I don't mean like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Brandon Figueroa and these guys aren't stars. All I'm saying is that he's a guy who you could absolutely 100. I mean, he's been in pay-per-views. Like, you can't say the same for the other guys. I know that's not the mark of it, but you get what I'm trying to say.
No, you're right. And to not have to defend your strap for 3.5 years, you have to have a big name to be able to pull that off and
Well
still
said.
own your strap.
Well said.
I don't understand how
Thank you
that's
for that.
possible, though. How do you still own your strap and you haven't defended it in 3.5 years? How does that fly?
Well, how the
Yeah,
fuck are
I
there
don't
people
know.
that have more subscribers than you that are dickheads and don't talk and talk all this shit on Twitter and YouTube? Don't have the balls like Calix to actually stand up for these things that are true and admit the facts when he does.
Speaking of standing up,
saying.
I just want to give a shout out to my boy Raw Boxing TV. Good to see you, brother. We got to catch up, but I want to say this: keep Robesi Ramirez away from Rey Vargas, please. He's not ready. I don't care what anybody says, but when that's it. But when that's no, he's not. But when that's it. All right. Well, that's it.
I like Calico's thing.
In my opinion, you're all gonna think I'm crazy. I know I'm in the minority. People are gonna want to put me in the like I don't know. Rey Vargas beats Navarrete.
Whoa.
Look at them laughing at me. They laughed at David, right? Before he went up against Goliath, didn't they? Were they laughing when that stone landed, though? So all I'm saying is that Rey Vargas is going to beat Navarrete. He will beat him. All right? I'm just letting you guys know right now.
In all seriousness, though, these style, he deserves credit for Saturday night, though. I mean,
sure.
Good win. Moving up is a good win.
Go watch the Joel Gonzalez fight and tell me Rey Vargas can't do better than that. Just go ahead and tell me that. Because Navarrete's unorthodox style, it's starting to get figured out a little bit. I love Navarrete, but it's starting to get figured out a little bit. And his long, lengthy style ain't going to work, right? Right, Bruce? Bruce got my back, right, Bruce? I think he does.
Yeah, baby.
Look, you got champions.
What I see is you guys are too satisfied with just one fight. I'm looking at a trilogy, man. Let them freaking fight each other and weed it down to one. You know, let's see if A beats one, and if A can beat B and B can beat C, and you know, settle this, bro. You got a crowded division, a bottleneck. Let them all fight each other. That's where I come from, man. I can't see Cali. Yeah, you're too laid back, bro. That'll satisfy you. No,
he's asking for a four-person tournament,
brother.
Like,
never
big.
Satisfied.
No, look, 126 is a division with a vacuum, right? There's no one guy yet, and I agree with you. You got guys like Vargas just won he wouldn't even win the WBC. WBA is still owned by Leo Santa Cruz. Josh Warrington's got the IBF. Navarrete's got the WBO. So, and here's what I think, though. I think the fight to make, I think the two guys who are going to come out of this on top are going to be Navarrete and Figueroa. I think those are the two best guys in the division right now. I think Figueroa is the second best guy in the division right now. Right now.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, Figueroa versus Navarrete, by the way, that is a fight of the year waiting to happen. They just got to make it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if Top Rank and PBC will ever work together to give us that gem, but that's a hell of a fight, bro. That fight is impossible to be boring. It's impossible. It just can't happen. I don't care if it just goes one round. Like, that'll be the most exciting round we've ever seen in our lives.
It's a great styles matchup.
Like, you know what I mean? So that's all I want to say. Let's go ahead and move on to the heavyweights. I know Bruce Goss loves those heavyweights. You know what I mean? Chisora pulls off the upset. He beats Pulev. I actually thought Pulev was going to win. I didn't do a prediction, but I did feel Pulev was going to win, but he didn't. Chisora, good win. Good scrap, by the way. Really good fight. And then he called out Deontay Wilder. What do you think about his performance? And you think he's smoking something if he thinks he could fight Wilder. What are your thoughts on that, Bruce Goss?
To me, that was like we have a thing around here that they call it the South County Fair, and they have the Tough Man contest, and it starts with about 20 of them, and before you know it, there's 2 of them in there, and these guys look like the last 2, and it was I love heavyweight boxing. And right now we don't see a lot of these guys mixing it up. So I was geared to this. This was, maybe top 20 fringe contenders. But fucking Chisora, everybody said after 6 rounds he's gonna gas. Nope, he surprised everybody, man. He was banging to the body early in the fight. I mean, I saw a fucking pound of hamburger on Pulev's on his right side, on his left side rather. He was just every time Chisora landed a few punches, he always ended with that overhand right to the body and smack. You could hear it, you could see it, but then all of a sudden he stopped throwing that punch. And I think he would have stopped Pulev if he continued throwing that punch. he went to his old style, but he didn't run out. He didn't gas and Pulev.
Yeah.
He just was so slow, bro. I mean, Joe Joyce would have landed speed bag combinations in that fight, you know. And people that were watching that with me, they're saying, "Damn, I'd rather watch." I'm never going to say it, but I'd rather watch him recite the top heavyweights of the 17th century, you know,
Damn.
things like that. But then I'm saying, no, this is getting interesting, and it was. You know, they both started landing, and they're both absorbing. And Chisora, he was like, dude, if he was 10 years younger, I think he'd be a force to reckon with, because he's got the heart and he's got the condition, but that body is well past its prime. He's screaming for fucking Wilder good. I'd love to see the fight, man, because we don't know what Wilder's going to look like after coming in after
True.
getting beat up twice in a row, big time. So anything can happen. I'd like to see that fucking fight. Give Chisora a fucking goodbye payday, maybe a fucking kiss off, a coffin, whatever, man. I don't give. You know, if Wilder's coming out of retirement and needs a tune-up, you know, needs a money fight, he should say, "You fucking talking about you mentioned my mouth." Like, you give him a fucking the guy who played Ali, slapped in the
Will Smith.
give him a slap in the fucking mouth. That's all.
Will
Wilder.
Smith chingazo.
His name's coming out of your mouth, and you know, do something about it. This is the heavyweight division, man. Fight. I know it's not going to happen, but this is where I come from. And even the days of the guys like Tony and Barkley, and you know, you start chirping it, the fight's made. Because what the fuck, bro? And shout out to fucking Derek Chisora, bro. That's what boxing needs, is more guys like Derek Chisora. Just a little bit younger, a little more fine tuned, but he's got it, and he's probably going to fight on until some medical commission says, nope, you can't fight anymore. So, man, and Pulev, he earned his money, but he's got to get a little more speed in his body, because he's slow.
Well, he's old, so I mean,
entertaining as hell.
I guess he didn't pull it out. You know what I mean? Like, he could have pulled off the win. You know what I mean? Like, but hey, Calix, look, first of all, your thoughts on the fight. I thought it was a good fight, and you think he's crazy for calling out Wilder? You think it's a good calculated decision? What are your thoughts?
No, I don't. More on that in a minute, but this is a good fight that I was not expecting. Was not expecting a good fight, and like you, I always point in the wrong direction here. Like you, I picked Pulev to win the fight. And the reason I did is I was looking at the trends.
Frank Mir fight?
Chisora lost half of his last 14 fights coming in. Pulev had won 9 of his last 10, but he's still in the twilight of his career as well. But a weird stat with Pulev was this was his first 12-round fight in 4 years. Since the Klitschko lost like 10, 11 fights ago, he had only fought 4 12-rounders. It's weird for a guy that experienced to be fighting 8 and 10 rounders like he's been doing in his career. So that maybe that came back to haunt him late in his career, because Chisora felt like was getting stronger and Pulev not so much in this fight. But Chisora went to the body early in the fight, and it paid dividends later. And when the 7th round came along, you saw the fight start to pick up and get more exciting. And Chisora was landing those overhand rights at will. And I'm happy for him. And to your point about Deontay Wilder, it's not crazy, because Chisora, you saw him in the post-fight interview call Eddie Hearn over. He's like, when am I going to get a big payday? He's asking Eddie Hearn, I want caviar. I don't want fast food. Give me a big payday. And he wants the big payday, and I think he deserves that on his way out. So if Deontay Wilder is looking for a comeback fight, Chisora would be a good fight for him if he is who Wilder has been in the past. Like Bruce Gass said, we don't know what Wilder we're going to get. But if we get anything close to Wilder, then Chisora is a guy that he should beat. But I'd like to see Chisora get a good payday, because he deserves it. He deserves a good payday, and I was happy for him. He seems like a likable guy, a good guy in boxing. He's fought the top guys in the division. I was glad to see him get the payday and keep his career going.
Absolutely. Yo, Mario Munguia. How did you feel about the fight? First of all, who did you have winning if you thought anybody was going to win? And what you think of the fight? And you think it's crazy for calling out Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber.
First off, I had Chisora, but I don't want any credit. I want to give full credit to D and to Calix, because do you know how many people are out there that lie on this shit all the time? They're like, well, I had Chisora, I had picked him. I didn't do a live, or I didn't stream it, but yeah, I had told a bunch of other people that you don't know their names. They go to other schools. Like all that, it's nonsense. But I honestly, y'all two always being honest. That's why I watch y'all's content. That's why I follow y'all. Great job. But no, I did not think it was going to be this exciting. I really didn't. Like, I remember keeping up on Twitter with the card, right? And everybody was like, oh, the card's dog shit. And I remember thinking, like, well, I got to watch the heavyweight fight. It got to a point where I forgot. And like, it was halfway through round one by the time I remembered to, oh shit, let me get it on DAZN. Didn't expect it. Loved every minute of it. It added to the weekend so well. It's like we got these, great little guy fights, right? Or I mean, whatever, featherweight. And then you had this also this heavyweight fight. It was really great. It was awesome. I loved it. What I didn't love is how many people were negative about the idea of Wilder Chisora. Don't get me wrong, right? Because I can't remember. I think it was Dan that had made this comment, basically oh, I only want to see Wilder with the upper echelon or the cream of the crop in heavyweight. And it's like, that's just not the way boxing works. Like, it's never worked like that. This isn't the playoffs or like the Sweet 16 or the Super Bowl. Like, this is not what this is. It's like, you have to matchmake in a certain way. Wilder's been out too long to suggest that he comes straight back and fight Joshua Usyk winner, or you know what I mean? Like, that's just not the way things are done. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't love that, or I wouldn't love a fight with Wilder and anyone in the top 5, but Chisora is a fun fight. And on the other side of this, the only reason I wouldn't want the fight is because honestly, I think if Chisora loses, it's going to be very bad. Like, it could be really, really bad. And he's a really nice guy off camera. Like, I wouldn't want anything like that to happen to anybody, but specifically him. That said, think about for just a moment what these two guys are capable of. Getting into a fight and that fight ending is probably one of the best knockouts of the year, first of all, right? Neither of these guys is going to take to the outside and start using the range. Like, neither of these guys are going to pepper and move and change direct. Like, it's a bullfight against two fucking bulls. Like, who doesn't want to see that? And if he ends it the way that we all expect he can, guess what that does? It raises his profile through the roof. Wilder gets exactly what he needs. So I echo the sentiments of Bruce and Calix. I think that that's a good fight. I don't love how many people are just so negative about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. TBH, first of all, what you think about the fight? Chisora Pulev? Were you surprised? I know, Pulev had just beat former UFC champion Frank Mir in a fight. You know what I mean? And he won. He looked good. Actually, but I think that ref wanted Frank Mir dead. I swear to God, that ref did not want him alive. But that aside, were you shocked by the result? And what do you think about him calling out Wilder? Is that a good matchup for him right now?
I mean, Pulev was coming off of beating a 44-year-old Frank Mir, who's not a boxer. I mean, that's I guess that's a great accomplishment, I guess. Derek Chisora, I mean, I thought the fight was moderately entertaining. Chisora is a tough guy. He has a good chin. He comes forward. Pulev,
tough judge.
Oh, okay, puncher. I mean, and he wants to get in the ring with Deontay Wilder. Now, look, like Bruce Gass has said and explained, we don't know the extent of how damaged Wilder is after these last 2 fights. But I will say this about Deontay Wilder. He has one-punch knockout powder, and he has grit. I think that'll be enough to put down Derek Chisora. But I do think Derek Chisora will give him trouble for the first 1 or 2 rounds for the relentless pressure that he brings. Derek Chisora is gonna, get knocked out, and he's gonna fly off in the sunset and make his money, and that'd be it. But one thing I will say about Chisora, he's fought a lot of top level competitions over the last since 2008, 2009, and that's something you can't take away from him. And that's what I'd say about that. But as far as them stepping in the ring, we'll see if it actually takes place, because we don't know if Wilder is actually going to come back or not. We don't, this man's been MIA for several months, more than several months actually. So, we'll see if that fight's made. But if it's made, that's how it's going to go down.
All right. I'm going to say it right now. Wilder would knock Chisora the fuck out. But I don't see any other way that fight. I just got to be honest. I don't see how Chisora stays away from the right hand for longer than, and I'm not exaggerating, 30 seconds.
What if he lands an overhand right, though?
I mean, of course he can do that, but Wilder's got the dimensions. All right, he has a decent jab. I don't care what anybody says. All right, and it's just not going to be enough, in my opinion. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I just want to bring up a couple quick points before I head out, because I got a phone call. But number one, I could tell that Chisora was going to get the decision, because if like a degenerate, I was following the gambling odds as the fight went on. Each round, Chisora became more of the favorite, and he started off the underdog, and then he became the favorite to where going into the last round, he was the minus 500 favorite. So that tells you right there, they had a pretty strong opinion that he was going to get the decision. So good for him. Second, somebody put in the chat and didn't know this. Deontay Wilder's 36 years old. He's up there in age now too. And it's crazy to think that he's 36, but Deontay Wilder's 36 years old, and he's coming off of multiple tough losses.
Yeah, so, that's young. According to Ebony Bridges, that's young. So,
but as Bruce Gass was saying earlier, we don't know what Wilder we're going to get going into this fight. And then my last point, Lee Groves DM'd me on Twitter and said that according to CompuBox, Rey Vargas threw 29 punches per round, which is more, threw 29 jabs per round, which is more than his 22 jabs per round average coming into the fight. So I got to apologize to Rey Vargas, because I'm obviously being a little too harsh on him, because he threw more jabs than he normally throws. So I got to go back and watch that fight. But if that's the case, then Rey Vargas actually fought an intelligent fight, how he's been in the past. Maybe Magsayo lured him into more trades, but Vargas won the fight. He won the fight, and he jabbed more than I thought he jabbed, and he jabbed more than he did in the past. So props to Vargas and props to Chisora. I just want to see Deontay Wilder back, though. That'll be my final point. I want to see Deontay Wilder come back, because the heavyweight division is more exciting with him in it.
He's to knock him the fuck out. I just got to be honest, guys. And I don't want to keep it simple, but it is that simple with Wilder. Like, either he knocks you the fuck out, or he could pull off what Fury did.
Uh-huh.
And I just, other than Fury, and maybe Usyk and maybe AJ, I don't see anybody else doing it. Sorry. It's got to be honest. You know what I mean? Now, we did kind of touch on all the topics here. So